If you are shopping for a used luxury car right now, the market wants you terrified. It wants you to believe that every old luxury badge is a financial grenade. That anything with leather seats, real wood trim, heated everything, and over 200,000 miles is already halfway to the junkyard. But that is not always true. Some luxury cars became cheap because they were bad. Others became cheap because the market forgot what was hiding underneath them. Today, I am counting down 4 reliable luxury cars with over 200,000 mile potential that almost nobody is paying attention to, and every one of them can still be found under $10,000 if you know what to look for. 4. Volvo S83.2. This is the kind of car that disappears in plain sight. Nobody wakes up in the morning dreaming about an old Volvo S80. It does not have the Lexus resale tax. It does not have the BMW badge flex. It does not have the Mercedes hood ornament that makes people feel important at the gas station. And that is exactly why it works. Because while the used car market is busy fighting over the same obvious Japanese luxury cars, the Volvo S83.2 sits quietly in the corner like an old executive who already retired, already paid off the house, and does not need to impress anybody. When new, this was Volvo's flagship sedan. It was built to carry executives, families, and long-distance drivers in silence and safety. Big doors, serious seats, thick glass, a calm highway ride, and that understated Swedish luxury feel that does not scream money, but whispers it. The version you want is not the complicated one. You do not want to get hypnotized by the V8 badge. You do not want the most loaded car with every fragile option known to mankind. The smart play is the 3.2-liter inline-6. That engine is the whole story here. It is smooth, naturally aspirated, and much less dramatic than the turbocharged European stuff that makes old luxury cars so scary. It does not exist to win drag races. It exists to get on the highway, settle into a rhythm, and stay there for years. This is the type of car where 180,000 miles does not automatically mean the end. If the oil changes were done, the cooling system was respected, and the transmission was not abused, the S83.2 can still feel shockingly composed at mileage, where most cheap luxury sedans start shaking like a washing machine full of bricks. And the depreciation is brutal. A car that once competed with the Mercedes E-Class and BMW 5 Series can now be found for the price of a tired economy car with cloth seats and a steering wheel that feels like melted plastic. But here is the warning. Do not buy the fanciest S80 you can find. Buy the cleanest, simplest, best documented S83.2 you can find. Service history beats mileage. A boring folder full of receipts is worth more than shiny wheels and a seller saying, "It runs great, bro." Because the S80 is not a disposable beater. It is a forgotten luxury sedan that rewards the buyer who understands one simple rule. Avoid the complicated versions and let depreciation do the dirty work for you. 3. Hyundai Genesis 3.8 sedan. This car is one of the strangest luxury bargains in America. Because when people hear Hyundai, they immediately think cheap commuter car, rental lot special, or modern engine horror stories. They do not think rear-wheel drive luxury sedan. They do not think quiet cabin. They do not think old school V6, long hood, smooth highway cruiser. And that is why the first generation Genesis sedan is so interesting. Before Genesis became its own luxury brand, Hyundai had to prove something. They were not just building another cheap sedan. They were trying to walk into the luxury room without being invited. So they built a car with rear-wheel drive, a real luxury car layout, a comfortable cabin, strong crash structure, and a naturally aspirated 3.8-liter V6. Not a tiny overstressed turbo engine, not a complicated hybrid system, not a fragile CVT pretending to be a transmission. A real V6, a real automatic, a real luxury sedan formula. And because the badge on the trunk still says Hyundai, the market never fully knew what to do with it. That is the loophole. A Lexus buyer ignores it because it is not a Lexus. A BMW buyer ignores it because it does not have the badge. A Mercedes buyer ignores it because it does not come with enough social validation. And the regular used car buyer ignores it because it looks too expensive to maintain. So the Genesis falls through the cracks. But the 2009 to 2011 3.8 sedan is the sweet spot. It came before the later direct injection era that made the story messier. The 3.8 V6 in these early cars is smoother, simpler, and a much better fit for the keep-it long-term buyer. This is not a car you buy to impress a valet. This is a car you buy when you want the luxury experience without paying the luxury badge tax. You get space, power, quietness, rear-wheel drive balance, and a car that feels far more expensive than the number on the listing. And under $10,000, that is where it becomes dangerous for the rest of the market. Because for the price of a worn-out compact crossover with a rattling dashboard and a loan attached to it, you can buy a forgotten luxury sedan that was built during Hyundai's "We Have Something to Prove" era. But be careful. Do not buy a neglected Genesis just because it is cheap. These cars still need clean fluids, good tires, suspension attention, and proof that the previous owner did not treat it like an invisible disposable sedan. The secret is not buying the cheapest one. The secret is buying the one that looks like somebody cared. Find a clean 3.8 sedan with maintenance history, and you are not buying an old Hyundai. You are buying the early blueprint of a luxury brand before the public caught on. Quick pause. If this video helps, hit like, subscribe, and tell me what city you're watching from. And if you want deeper buying guides, maintenance tips, and used car red flags, become a member for just $14.99 a month, less than an oil change. One bad used car mistake can cost more than a full year of membership. Hit join and buy smarter. Number 2, Infiniti M35. This is the car people forgot because they were too busy arguing about BMWs. Back in the mid-2000s, the Infiniti M35 was not some soft, boring luxury appliance. It was sharp, quick, comfortable, and genuinely premium. It had presence, it had power, it had that slightly aggressive Infiniti personality before the brand lost the plot and started confusing everyone with names that sounded like printer models. But today, the M35 is invisible. The average buyer sees an old Infiniti and immediately assumes 3 things: high mileage, expensive repairs, and some previous owner with a loud exhaust who treated every stoplight like a street race. And sometimes, yes, that is exactly what you will find. But when you find the right one, the M35 becomes a serious hidden weapon. The heart of this car is the 3.5-liter VQ 35 V6. This engine family was everywhere for a reason. Nissan and Infiniti used it across sedans, coupes, crossovers, and performance cars because it made power, sounded good, and could handle serious mileage when maintained correctly. In the M35, that V6 gives you the exact kind of old-school luxury performance that modern cars are losing. No tiny turbo begging for mercy, no start-stop system shaking the cabin at every red light, no CVT belt quietly planning your financial destruction. Just a naturally aspirated V6, a traditional automatic transmission, and a chassis that actually wants to move. And the M35X gives you all-wheel drive, which makes the story even better if you live somewhere with snow, rain, or terrible roads. This car is not a Lexus ES. It is not trying to be soft, invisible, and beige. The M35 feels more alive than that. It has a little edge. It feels like a luxury sedan built by people who still believed a premium car should have a pulse. That is why it works so well for this list. Because the market punishes it like an old luxury liability, but the core engineering is much stronger than the price suggests. You can find these cars under $10,000, sometimes far under that number, because the Infiniti badge does not carry the same trust as Lexus, and because people are scared of anything luxury with mileage. Good, let them be scared. That fear is what creates the discount. But here's the trap. You cannot buy a modified one. Do not buy the one with blacked out taillights, mystery suspension, mismatched tires, and a seller who says, only needs a sensor. That is not a hidden gem. That is a rolling crime scene. You want stock wheels, clean interior, cold air conditioning, smooth shifts, service records, and an owner who looks like they actually knew what oil was. Find that car, and the Infiniti M35 becomes one of the most underrated 200,000-mile luxury sedans in the under $10,000 market. Number 1, Acura RL. The Acura RL is what happens when a company builds a serious luxury car but forgets to give it a personality loud enough for Americans to notice. It was too expensive when new, too subtle for badge chasers, and too conservative for people who wanted a German sports sedan. So the market ignored it. That was a mistake. Because underneath the quiet bodywork, the Acura RL is basically Honda engineering wearing a tailored suit. This was not the entry-level Acura. This was the flagship. The car Acura built to show what it could do when comfort, technology, all-weather confidence, and long-term quality mattered more than impressing strangers at a stoplight. The engine is a J-Series V6, one of Honda's most trusted families of V6 engines. Smooth, strong, naturally aspirated, and capable of serious mileage when the timing belt service is respected. And then there is the SHAWD system. This was not some lazy all-wheel drive setup that only wakes up after the front tires panic. Acura's super handling all-wheel drive could actively move torque to help the car rotate through corners. In plain English, this old luxury sedan had a smarter drivetrain than many modern crossovers people are financing today. That is what makes the RL so strange. It looks like a car your dentist forgot, in the parking lot. But mechanically, it is full of intelligent engineering. The kind of engineering that does not need to shout because it was built by a company obsessed with doing things properly. And now, because nobody talks about it, the prices are almost disrespectful. You can find RLs under $10,000 because the market does not understand them. Lexus buyers overlook them. German car buyers underestimate them. Younger buyers do not even know what they are. That is exactly why this car belongs here. A clean RL with 180,000 or 220,000 miles is not automatically scary. With maintenance history, timing belt records, clean transmission behavior, and a healthy SHAWD system, it can be one of the smartest luxury buys in this entire price range. But the maintenance history is not optional. The timing belt matters, the fluids matter, the differential service matters, the SHAWD system is brilliant, but it is not magic. Ignore it, and the car will punish you. Maintain it, and it feels like one of the most underappreciated luxury sedans Honda ever built. The RL is not flashy, it is not trendy, it is not famous. It is something better for the right buyer, a forgotten flagship with Honda bones. Perfect cars do not exist under $10,000. The real secret is simple. Buy the right version, check the history, and focus on how the car was treated. That is where the truth is. If you enjoyed this video and want more hidden car deals like this, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which one you would actually buy. Because sometimes the smartest car is the one everyone else ignored.